Mic check 1 2. So the truth is that I tend to buy a lot of one-player games because there's something that I think a lot of people who watch video game content and gaming content, like, they realize it, but they don't often talk about it. And that is the fact that pretty much once you hit the age of about 24 and 25 or so, you're going to spend most of your time gaming alone. Now, I'm not saying that this is the case for everyone, but most people are going to wind up spending the bulk of their time gaming by themselves. And the reason for that is that most people who grow up playing video games, they eventually age out of the hobby because life takes over. They get more responsibilities, they mature socially. Not to say that if you still play video games as an older person, you're not socially mature, but you just start to have more social experiences that force you to do other things. And when you're doing other things, obviously you can't play video games because your time is being taken up. And what I've tend to notice is that most of the time, the people who still have the abundance of time to continue playing games, they're usually loners. They usually keep to themselves, stay to themselves. They're usually homebodies. They don't really go out often. They just don't tend to engage much socially. And again, that's okay. I'm a bit of an introvert myself. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to put away some of these PSP games. I'm a bit of an introvert myself. But what I tend to notice is that after a certain point in age in life, the couch co-op gameplay ends because you're the only one sitting on the couch. And not to sound sad or anything about it, but it's just life. You grow up, you lose contact with your friends, you find new friends, you develop new hobbies, you get into other things. And I think sometimes when you get on YouTube and you see a lot of folks, whether they be at gaming conventions or just different events, what you typically tend to see the same people around each other, because the community, while it is big, it's small. So if you live in certain parts of the country where there isn't a large gaming community, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be gaming by yourself, or you'll be gaming with someone online. But that in-person, person-to-person experience, for the most part, is going to be gone. And it can be a lonely hobby at times. And that, for me, is, one of the biggest reasons why I get a lot of one-player games, because I know that the odds of me getting around a group of people and us all sitting around and playing video games together are slim to none. And the rough part, here's where the sad part comes in. The sad part comes in when video games become a crutch for you to stay alone. And that's something that I wouldn't recommend. Now, the gaming community is big, but it's spread out, and my advice to anyone who feels kind of like, they're in their own world gaming, or it's something that they feel like they're the only one in their social circles that they know actually plays video games. And maybe you're kind of afraid to admit it, right? Because everyone at work, everyone at school, or everyone wherever it is you go, everyone's off doing other things. And you might feel like this, maybe like this subtle, not pressure, but you might feel maybe embarrassed to jump out and say, hey, I play video games. Especially if everyone that is, I don't know, in a relationship, or maybe they're into sports, or maybe they're into hiking or doing outdoors things. It all depends, right? Everyone's life situation is different. But usually once you hit the age of around 25, 26, 27, a lot of people are usually getting into serious relationships, and maybe they're getting married. Maybe they have children. Maybe they have families that they have to, invest time in. And so they don't have all the time in the world to play video games, or go to, different gaming events, or wait online for the newest gaming release. And And maybe that's just something that you do by yourself. And if you do find yourself in a space where maybe you're over the age of 25, or maybe you're in your 30s and you are gaming alone, that's okay. That, you're not weird or strange for it. But my recommendation would be to find communities near you or close to you that you can find like-minded people who also enjoy video games, who enjoy playing video games, talking about video games, and maybe build a community near you, because people may not say it online, but at a certain age, gaming becomes very lonely. Playing video games as a hobby becomes a very lonely hobby, because a lot of times you're the only one in your immediate area that does it. Now, don't get me wrong. You may be one of the lucky folks who you've had the same friends for the last, I don't know, 30, 35 years. And maybe all of your friends are still into video games, and maybe none of you have, wives or children or things that take you away to where, you can indulge in the hobby a lot. But what I typically see is that if you are a person who has those things and you still have a passion for gaming, no matter how passionate you are, you can only give so much of your time to it. As much as I love playing video games, and I have an entire YouTube channel dedicated to video games, I'm lucky if I'm able to go to even one gaming convention a year. Why? Well, because the money that I would spend traveling to a gaming convention, I might need to take my family on a family outing or on a family trip, a family vacation, or maybe I need to pay for something for my daughter or do something for my family or pay for something around the house or, just regular life stuff. And when you start balancing your priorities, gaming conventions and, things like that, they just, I'd be irresponsible if I put a hobby like video games over some of the bare necessities of maintaining a healthy family dynamic. And, those are just natural life things that take precedence over the hobby of video games. And if you're not in a position in life where you have those things, then, you're really not going to understand having that sacrifice and making that balance. And as time has gone on, the data shows that less and less people are getting married, less and less people are having children. The generations that are coming up are, they're not going the same route, that the older generations have gone. And that's okay. No one says that you need to, have a family. No one says that you need to be out there having 100 kids and things like that. And I'm exaggerating with 100 kids, but no one says that you're a bad person if you don't do those things. But what you need to understand, and this is probably me speaking more so to maybe some of my younger viewers, which I think based on the YouTube analytics, I want to say like 35% of my viewers are under the age of, I think, 25 or so. So if you're in that age bracket, just know that eventually a good chunk of your friends that you probably spend a lot of time gaming with will eventually disengage from the hobby at the level that you're at now, especially if they meet a significant other, if they meet a guy or if they meet a girl that they really like and that guy and that girl isn't as into video games as they are. You better believe that they're gonna back away from video games. Maybe not completely, but they're gonna back away enough to maintain that relationship depending on how much they really like that person. So it's just the nature of life. It's just the nature of things. And I thought it was worth a conversation because sometimes we can get disillusioned with what we see on the internet. And, sometimes, the way the hobby might look and the way the hobby might be displayed, it looks like, if you join the gaming community, you're just going to be on a couch every night, playing games with your friends all night, or you're going to be able to put in 1,000 hours into games. And it just doesn't work that way. As you get older. So I would say to the folks who are 25 and under, enjoy it now. Gaming from the age of, childhood, I guess you could say as early as 8 years old. Gaming from like 8 to 18 is amazing because those are going to be some of the most carefree days of your life. They're going to be the times where you can truly indulge in video games the most, because it's pretty much just school, homework, and video games, unless you have an after-school job like I did. But once you hit that in your early 20s, you're going to want to go out more. You're going to want to do things more. And as you get older in life, you know, you're just going to find yourself gravitating towards other things. And for sure, a lot of your friends are also going to start moving away into just different things and different hobbies. So, you know, I just kind of wanted to make a quick video. It's a very rainy, cold, blustery evening on the East Coast. For a second there, I thought we were going to lose power in the house. And, you know, it made me think, like, man, I wonder what the person who, like, lives alone and plays a lot of video games does when they lose power in the house and they're home all alone and none of their handhelds are charged and they don't have any batteries. What do you do then, you know? Because in moments like this, you know, my family and I, we're gathering the candles, you know, we're getting the flashlights ready just in case the power goes out, and we're all planning to huddle together in one room and use the last bit of our cell phone juice to watch something on, you know, Netflix or something like that. But you know, when you're alone, it's a little bit of a different scenario. And so navigating moments in life like that have to be different. So I'm really interested to know what the gaming community thinks. Is you know, is it true that as you get older, the hobby becomes more lonely? Or do you think that as you get older, the community gets wider? I'm interested to know your thoughts on this. It's the Y2K Collector coming with just another provocative thought. Hopefully you're having a safe, warm, and comfortable evening, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take it easy.